Good hi, you're on the YouTube watching person. I'm your host, Deadball Gamer. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the first ever Salmon Run Direct. Before we get into all the details about this DLC, let me give you a little backstory of how this idea was born. Also, I had no idea what to put in the background, so enjoy these calming sounds of Salmon Run's golden rotation. I love Salmon Run so much, and it's about 90% of what I play since Splatoon 3 released, but I also love deck building games, roguelites and games like that. With the release of Side Order, I was pretty hyped. I mean, Splatoon and roguelite elements? Sign me up! But Side Order left me hungry for more. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy my time with it, but once I was done, I was done. One thing Side Order did though, was leaving an idea, a spot at the back of my head, that was bugging me for a few months now. Over the past few months I've been writing down ideas for this video, but every time I wanted to work on it, I got overwhelmed, I could not continue. This time I finally decided to scratch that spot and get to work. So here it is. So what is this video about? As I said, since the release of Side Order, I could not stop thinking about how would Salmon Run look like with this spin on it. In this video I will walk you through, I guess, my idea, a vision, a concept of a brand new mode. Side Order, but it's Salmon Run and better, so it's not. DLC for Splatoon 3. Better known as Project Elevator. This mode is for players who enjoy a little bit of thinking, a little bit of planning, a little bit of strategy, a little bit of depth, a little bit of excitement and a little bit of sadness and frustration when things go wrong and you realize that all your progress is gone and you are sent all the way back to the lobby. But it's so good it drags you in for another big shift, curious to see how far you can go this time, what new playstyle you get into and what secrets you will uncover. Without much more talking, this is your chance to pause the video, grab a snack, make a tea, do whatever you need to do before you get comfy, because we have a lot to go through. After downloading the DLC, you'll be greeted by a little bubble about the radio of Mr. Gris. Interacting with it will start a short message from Mr. Gris letting you know that the elevator is finally fixed and can be used again. He would also let you know that for safety reasons, only workers with special workers license can access it. A new item will be added to the Grisco Scale Shop. Special workers license that costs 150 bronze skulls, 50 silver skulls and 15 gold skulls, making it the only item requiring multiple rarities of skulls at once for purchase. This is to make sure that workers are familiar with the world of Salmon Run. With the new capsules that contain skulls, it will take 15 rotations played for super bonuses if you have bad luck with skulls, well, at least with gold ones. Hey, even ranked is locked behind player level and we don't have levels in Salmon Run, so this is the way to go, to make sure that players are somewhat familiar with the game before jumping into this mode. Once you obtain special workers license, a bubble will appear next to the elevator. Interacting with it will cause the doors to open, giving you the option to go up or down. For now, we will focus on the underground. Selecting it will start the matchmaking process. You can also select underground from the menu selection. It will become available after your first interaction with the elevator bubble. You can play solo and match with other players, or you can play with friends in twin lands, free lands or full squad, just like you can play Salmon Run right now. This game operates on hazard level rather than your rankings like Go-Getter, Professional or EVP. Starting hazard level would be calculated by the average of your map badges. Let's take this example. What would be the starting hazard level of a player who has 2 bronze badges, 4 silver badges and 1 gold badge? I won't go over the calculation, but you can see that it is 600. For reaching EVP 600, you are rewarded with silver badge. Silver badge gives you checkpoint at EVP 300. EVP 300 is around hazard level 225. Starting hazard level for someone with these badges would be 225%. We can have a look at another example of 1 silver badge and 6 gold badges. Since the average is not quite reaching EVP 99, it falls into the same category as the previous example. Wow, I did not even mean to do it this way, but I guess we found the bottom and top of this tier. Here is the list of possible starting hazard levels. If you have no badges at all, you will start at hazard level 100, which is around Professional plus 1 rank. The rest depends on your map badge average all the way to the hazard level 250, for which you need all gold badges. There is no checkpoints in this mode because your starting hazard level is your checkpoint, but we could also go the basic route and add badges and checkpoints for this mode the same way it is in normal Salmon Run, but I think that this might still force some players to play normal Salmon Run rotations to chase those badges. After getting your starting hazard level calculated, the game would match you with players with the same starting hazard level. In case that there is not enough players playing at the moment, game might end up matching you with players with different starting hazard level. Then it would let players vote for what hazard level they wish to start with. Same thing applies if you're playing with friends who have different map badge averages. When starting hazard level is calculated and voted for, game starts. You will be presented with map on one side and legend on the other. Each map starts with basic shift and ends with King Salmonid fight represented with the skills icon. Maps can be 4 to 7 levels long, because just like in Freelance, sometimes you get to the extra wave sooner and sometimes it takes some time. It also adds to the randomness of the mode. Before we get into explaining all the different map icons, let's talk about voting. Voting plays a big part in this mode and is used in multiple ways. We already talked about voting for starting hazard level. For example here, team gets to decide where would they like to go next on the map and each player gets to vote. If all 4 players agree, they will simply start. But if there is even one person voting another way, their choices will be presented and game will randomly pick one of the options Mario Kart style. Of course, more players voting the same way increases the odds of it being picked, but you never know. Now that we are familiar with how voting works, let's take a look at some map icons. There is few categories of map icons. To start things off, let's talk about the main common ones. These icons appear on every single map. Basic shift is your regular Salmon Run shift with normal chances of different tides and night waves. The only difference is that you don't know what stage you're getting into. This shift is always at the start of every map. On your first map, you and your team will be assigned 4 random weapons and 4 random special weapons. They will stay with you for the rest of the run, with chance of switching it for different ones later. On the later maps, this serves as training grounds to get used to the new hazard level and upgrades. Basic shift can also be found randomly throughout the map. Specific stage is just another type of basic shift, but you know what stage you're getting into thanks to the stage logo on the icon. Skills represent basic shift with King Salmonid fight at the end. King Salmonid is random with small chance of triggering Tri-King. Crew wipe during extra wave results in game over screen. Successfully clearing extra wave means either surviving the whole wave or defeating King Salmonid. If you manage to defeat King Salmonid, you get to choose an upgrade, more on that later. Successfully clearing an extra wave lets you increase the hazard level of your next map. You can increase the hazard level by 5, 10 or 20%. All players vote and game chooses the outcome if players won't agree. There is a choice for how much hazard level you would like to add, because some players may prefer slow difficulty rise, going through more maps, getting stronger and eventually being able to survive hazard level they are otherwise not used to. But some players might want to challenge themselves and choose the high hazard level spike to get to HLM quickly. Next up, let's take a look at icons in the main uncommon category. These icons might not show up on every map. Do you miss Big Run on Wahoo World? Do you ever wonder what would Salmon Run look like on Flounder Heights? Well, great news! All PvP stages are added in this mode, and choosing this icon on the map will let you play Salmon Run on a randomly selected PvP stage. Basic shift, but big runnified. Grisco Locker is special basic shift that cannot have night waves. Somewhere on the stage, a locker will spawn with 4 locks, one for each player. They can be broken by dealing enough damage to them. Damage dealt to the locks carries over between the waves. There is also a small indicator about the player's icons, showing who broke their locks and how many are still left to break. If a player breaks their lock, they can help another teammate. But don't forget that you still need to take care of bosses and filling up the egg quota. If you manage to survive the shift but won't be able to break all 4 locks, nothing happens and you continue with your journey. If you manage to break all 4 locks, you'll be rewarded with random selection of 5 main weapons and 6 special weapons that you can change for free. Or you can choose to pick some currency, more on that later. Oh, what's that? Is that Ingwak in Salmon Run? Yes it is. We have all 9 special weapons from normal Salmon Run in this mode, but we are also adding 6 brand new, never before seen special weapons in Salmon Run. These 6 are Big Bubbler, Ingwak, Inkstorm, Ultra Stamp, Trizuka and Zipcaster. These ones are available only in the underground mode, bringing the total of special weapons to 15. It might be fun experimenting with them, but is it worth possibly throwing the whole run trying something new? The rewards from Grisco Locker are the same for everyone, and multiple players can choose the same main weapon if they wish. However, special weapon that is picked by one player becomes locked for other players. It is not allowed for multiple players to own the same special weapon. Each player can only choose one item from the selection. If you pick Heavy at this plot link, you cannot pick up Ultra Stamp or anything else from the locker. Last uncommon map icon is the challenge icon. Once selected, you'll be working one wave, which is 100 seconds, on a random stage, where filling up the quota is not the main objective, but completing a random challenge is. You can still put eggs into the basket, but failing the challenge results in game over. These challenges are picked for you randomly, and some examples are: Turf War. Hordes of salmonids coming over and over. You can splat them, put eggs into the basket, but most importantly you need to paint. If your team puts down more paint than salmonids, you win. If not, well, game over. Turf meter will be present on top of the screen for the first 75 seconds of the challenge, showing you who is in the lead. Will your stage look like this at the end of the wave, granting you victory and allowing you to continue with the adventure? Or will it look like this, covered in green salmonid ink, ending your run and sending you back to the lobby? Next up, Chinook Invasion. Mothership will be hovering over the stage, but never blocking the basket. Your task is to splat Chinooks before they touch the ground. There will be a number on the left side of the screen representing limit of Chinooks allowed to touch the ground. This limit gets smaller as the hazard level gets higher. If this limit is filled up, it's game over. You can still put eggs into the basket, but is it worth risking sneaky Chinook touching the ground? Can you survive 100 seconds of Chinook invasion? Next up, Guide the Tower. Our lovely tower from side order is making a return, but this time the basket becomes the tower. Yes, you heard that right. Your team will take the basket all around the stage while surrounded by salmonids. Basket moves faster if more players are splatting it with ink. Let's take a look at Bonoratl Arena and its basket path. You can see the arrows showing you the direction the basket will take. Orange lines represent checkpoints. Tower moves slowly during the checkpoints phase, but once it's past it, it cannot go back further than the last checkpoint acquired. Let's take a look at few other maps. Mariner's Bay has a new color line. Light blue lines are there to show you that the path is on another height level. In this case, it goes through the tight corridor that separates the boat in two halves. And there's checkpoints as well. Ouch. On Jamin Salmon Junction, there is another type of colored lines. These bright beige lines represent an elevation. It's a place where the basket goes up the wall or up in the air to connect to another surface. Let's take a look at the rest of the stages. Spawning grounds, Confusion Hydro Plant, Salmon Smoke Yard, and Stockeye Station. Can you safely guide the tower across the map within the time limit? You might have noticed a little icon next to the basic shift right after the paths join back in together. That is a sub-map icon. They add additional challenge to your main map icons. It's there to make your decisions and path taking a little bit harder and more strategic. Let's take a look at what they mean, shall we? Tide. This sub-icon lets you know what tide is present for the whole shift. Of course, we have low tide, normal tide and high tide, all with their unique icons. Double shift. Just as the name says, instead of having to survive 3 waves, you'll have to survive 6 waves. Quota is increasing with every wave. Dangerous, but very nice for earning power eggs and golden eggs. Team debuff sub-icon represented by Chum is one of the 2 hazard icons. You and your crew have random debuff making you weaker. Some examples are swim speed down, ink recovery down, or even no egg throw, forcing you to go back in time and play in Splatoon 2's Salmon Run style. Salmonid buff represented by Kohok is the second hazard icon. Enemies will have a random buff making them stronger. Some examples are increased HP or speed, but there is also plenty of boss or lesser specific ones like Stinker having more pots, making it take more time to defeat, Flipper Flopper having increased radius of the zone you need to paint. We also have 2 icons that are versatile, meaning they can be both main and sub icons. First up, Night Waves. You'll be sent to a random stage, unless this is a sub icon attached to a specific map icon, and all the waves will be night waves. Sounds scary when you think about that griller and rush combo, but you might also play 3 tornadoes, so who knows. Second and last verse icon is representing Grisco weapons. Once again, random stage unless otherwise specified, where you'll be loaned a random Grisco weapon every wave. Oh yes, and we are introducing 2 new Grisco weapons, Grisco Brush and Grisco Splatling. Grisco Brush is actually 2 little dagger-like brushes with amazing mobility, ink efficiency, and fast but very short range attacks that pierce armor. Downside is very thin paint when rolling and minimal ink splatter when fighting. Grisco Splatling is still in the works and team is changing their minds quite often, so I can't give you exact info about it, just know that it's coming. Lastly, we have shop map icons, but before we get into more info about those, we need to talk about currency. What could be the currency in the underground, you may ask? Well, we already briefly touched on it before, and of course it's Power Eggs and Golden Eggs. Power Eggs are individual currency for individual purchases for each player. However, the amount of Power Eggs earned is not the amount of Power Eggs you acquire as an individual in the shift. Instead, all of the Power Eggs from all 4 players are added to the pool and distributed to the players depending on the rarity of medals they earned. Yes, medals from PvP are coming to Salmon Run, but more on that later. If all players receive 3 gold medals, the pool of Power Eggs will be divided equally and everyone will earn 25% cut. There is many distribution options for different scenarios. Let's take this as an example. Normally, during Rush, player with roller will earn the most Power Eggs. But player who is making sure the quota is met by putting golden eggs into the basket is doing an important job as well, however not earning as many Power Eggs. This medal system should make sure that every player gets a fair cut of Power Eggs if they put the work in. We all have bad shifts sometimes, and we might not be able to earn as many Power Eggs as we wish, and then, when we get to the actual shop, we might not be able to buy what we need or want just because we are a few eggs short. That's why we are introducing Power Egg transfer system. Player can ask others for help and they can send some Power Eggs to the player in need. I was thinking about making a debt system that will be in place if other players are not able or don't want to transfer their Power Eggs, but I'm scrapping it because I don't want it to encourage bad habits. You should always try your hardest so you always have enough Power Eggs. Power Egg transfer system might come in handy if you encounter early shop and you know you really want to buy something. Golden Eggs are shared currency used for team purchases, often mixed with voting. Now that we know about the currency, let's take a look at our first shop. Marigold, our hard-working queen and mother, is picking up extra shifts in the underground. Her shop helps you change your layout and provide boosts for the entire crew. Every player has different selection of 4 random main weapons. The same main weapon can be in other player's shop and can be bought by multiple players as well. Main weapons repeats are okay, just like during question mark rotations in normal Salmon Run. Every player has a different selection of 6 special weapons that are not in their team loadout yet. 4 regular specials from Salmon Run and 2 specials found only in the underground. If a player buys a special, that special becomes blocked in the shop of their other players if they had an option to buy it as well. Special weapon cannot be owned by multiple players at the same time. Marigold sells 2 types of tickets, one that give your team active boost to selected ability and ones that give your team passive boost, for example for earning more golden eggs or having better odds of getting specific rarity of skills. Ticket boost is temporary and will expire after a specific time, maybe after 2 shifts and maybe after the next King Salmon it. If you own Gold Marigold badge, all items are 10% cheaper for you. Lilja decided to join Underground as well, but unfortunately his shop is not yet set up and Marina is fixing his headset, so we better not disturb them and visit later. Let's talk about Huge Fry Blessing. This map icon is very rare and path to it is often hard. However, if you manage to get there, you'll be able to pick up 1 blessing out of 3 randomly selected ones. These affect the whole team and last for the whole run. You can only have 3 blessings active at once. In this scenario, the 3 random blessings you can choose from are: Discount. All items in Marigold's shop are 20% cheaper. Spiky Shield. Gain shield that absorbs the first amount of damage and reflects it back with 50% of its power. Resets every wave. Foreseeing Eye. When you are about to enter Scale Map icon, you can roll the Foreseeing Eye up to 2 times to reveal or change what King Salmon you would fight. All players vote for blessing they would like to get. Some other blessings are: Destiny. After clearing King Salmonid wave, alongside voting for how much hazard level you would like to add to your next map, you can also vote for how big do you wish your next map to be. Remember that map can be between 4 and 7 icons long. Extra eggs. If your shift ends with 200 or more golden eggs, gain 100 more. Special treatment. You no longer own 2 uses of your special weapon, but only 1. After using your special weapon, it will refresh at the start of your next wave. Bite. At the start of an extra wave, Huge Fry itself comes from the sky to bite the King Salmonid, dealing random amount of damage between 5 and 20% of its max HP. In case of striking fight, Huge Fry does 3 quick bites one to each king, dealing damage between 5 and 10% of their max HP. There is many more. Yeah, do you remember what I said about possible upgrades after defeating King Salmonid? Well, it's Grisco Palette. Yes, every player will have their own empty palette assigned to them at the start of the run. This palette can hold up to 5 chips, with possible upgrades later. After defeating King Salmonid, each player will be presented with a random selection of 3 chips and you can choose one to add to your palette. If your palette is full, you may choose to replace a chip or gain currency. Since this selection of chips is not shared between players, if you see something you would like, just take it. Grisco palette and chips are individual upgrades and are not shared amongst the team. So what do you say? Is this enough motivation to try your hardest during the King Salmonid fights? There is 8 categories of chips that you might recognize from playing side order. Let's take a look. Power chips are focusing on making your damage higher in variety of ways. For example, splash damage. This increases the damage of everything that causes an explosion. Bombs, Reef Slider, Booyah Bomb and more. Aura damage would increase the damage of Inkstorm, for example. Range chips are focusing on, well, increasing the range of your main weapon, explosions, or even your throw range affecting bombs, throwable specials and even egg throw. Ink chips are focusing on modifying your ink, for example your ink recovery, how much ink you're using, or even helping your aim. Mobility chips are focusing on helping you move around. They can increase your swim speed, run speed, making it easier to perform squid roll or squid surge, but also let you deal damage while using it. Protection chips are focusing on helping you to stay alive, adding extra HP or making you recover it faster. You can even get ink armor making you take less damage. Weapon chips are focusing on modifying weapon classes or even individual weapons. Duelist users can gain extra dodge rolls, while charger and splatling users can gain quick charge. Splatanas may create explosions while dealing direct damage, and Bloblobber might gain 3 additional blobs to lob. Special weapon chips are focusing on modifying your special weapon in multiple ways. For example, Ink Superstorm might get much thicker, painting more and dealing more damage while also healing you and your team way quicker. Wavebreaker might gain electric properties, zap enemies and stun them for a brief moment. There is many more. Last category is about inactive chips. Chips that are no longer in use and who no effect will turn grey, letting you know that it might be a good idea to switch it for another chip. How do chips become inactive? Imagine if you have a chip that modifies your inkjet, but then you decide to switch your special to Trizuka. The chip is no longer affecting the correct special, making it inactive. However, having an inactive chip might not be that bad. If you're lucky enough, you might encounter Huge Fire's Blessing that gives you 2.5% overall damage per inactive chip you own. Perfect timing. I'm getting info that Lil Judd is done setting up his shop. I still wonder what Marina was doing there before. Lil Judd sells variety of Grisco chips and provides few extra services. Selection of chip is random for every player. You can buy as many chips as you wish if you have enough power eggs and slots in your Grisco palette. If you wish to replace a chip, Lil Judd can do it for you. Simply place the chip you wish to replace into the slot and then you'll be presented with a random selection of 3 chips from which you can choose one. Lil Judd can also just remove a chip you no longer wish to use or expand your Grisco palette. Palette can be expanded up to 3 times, holding a maximum of 20 chips. One thing I did not mention yet is that chips have multiple levels. The higher the level of the chip, the stronger it is. You get level 1 chips from Lil Judd shop, level 2 chips from Splatting King Salmonid, and level 3 chips from Splatting Tri-King. I believe that now you have that extra motivation to do your best during extra ways, Also, side note for the shops. We are not sure about the in-game economy yet, so prices of all of these shops are just placeholders and are very likely to rise. Now that we know what all the map icons mean, let's have a look at some of the maps and do a quick recap. Each map starts with basic shift and ends with scales representing King Salmonid fight. On your first basic shift of your first map, all players will be assigned random main weapon and random special weapon, with the chance of changing it later. You can change your loadout for free by completing Grisco's Locker Challenge or by purchasing new ones from Marigold's shop. On your journey you might end up on PvP stage or doing a random challenge where putting eggs into the basket is not the main objective. There is main icons, sub-icons and verse icons that can be both. There is a lot of different combinations, making sure each map feels fresh. When you survive an extra wave, you can vote for how much hazard level you would like to add to your next map. If you manage to successfully defeat the king, you can pick up a chip and put it into your Grisco palette as a reward. Basic Shift on your next map will act as a training ground to get used to the hazard level and possible Grisco palette upgrades. When does the game end? As we know, Underground Run ends with Game Over screen that is caused by crew wipe or not filling up the quota or failing the challenge. Game also ends the first time you successfully splat King Salmonid on HLM, which is hazard level 333. If you only survive but won't defeat the King Salmonid, you start a new map with the same HLM until you splat the King Salmonid. Doing so will reward you with a badge. Earning this badge will give you a brand new checkpoint at hazard level 300, which I believe is around EVP 700, but I might be wrong. This also unlocks Deeper Underground Plus, a mode for true endless Salmon Run experience. In this mode you are unable to vote for hazard level rise after reaching hazard level 300, or if you choose to start at hazard level 300. Instead, hazard level rises by 11% until HLM, which is 333%. Then, hazard level rises to 340% and from there by 10%. Yes, you can go above HLM, however hazard level only rises if you defeat King Salmon. If not, you will be on the same hazard level as the map you just played on. In Deeper Underground Plus, Deaths of Rap Saver is present. When Game Over screen is shown to you, you can pay a fee of 5000 golden eggs and pick up a curse to continue on with your journey. Deaths of Rap Saver is available only once per hazard level when above HLM. For example, if you fail to fill up the quota on hazard level 350, you can pay for Deaths of Rap Saver to continue. If you defeat King Salmonid and your next map's hazard level increases to 360, Deaths of Rap Saver is available once again for one use during this hazard level. However, if you fail to splat King Salmonid but you survive the waves, your next map will have the same hazard level of 350, and Deaths of Rap Saver is not available because you already used it once on this hazard level. It's a little bit complicated, but Deaths of Rap Saver is there to give you some wiggle room if things go wrong. It should not be something you rely on. Plus, you still need a lot of golden eggs to even purchase it, and you will have curse that makes it way harder for you to survive. Speaking of curses, let's talk about what those are. Curse is a form of punishment for using Deaths of Rap Saver. Curses last until King Salmon is splatted. Some examples are Glowfly Sandwich, where wave 1 and wave 3 are always Glowflies. You cannot earn power eggs or golden eggs. Splatted teammates cannot be rescued until the start of next wave. Shops are twice as expensive. Grisco palette is turned off, and many more. We also have Spice. Spice is an additional challenge that you can set up at the start of your run and last of a whole run. Spices can be combined, so you can make a run really challenging. Some examples are No Game Over Saver, I guess better known as Deaths of Rap Saver. Curses mean you will have a random curse put on you randomly throughout the map lasting for one shift only. King Salmon is splat only. Game counts successful clear of an extra wave only if the King Salmon is defeated. If you survive without defeating the King Salmonid, game is over. In Deeper Underground Plus, you'll be able to collect lore cards. These are given to you as a reward for every map you finish above HLM by successfully splatting King Salmonid. Now that we went through what Project Elevator is about, we can take a look at some other additions that are going to be available even to players who did not get the DLC. As I said at the very start, Elevator can go both up and down. We already covered what happened down in the underground, but what happens when going up? Going up, the elevator takes you to the roof of the Grisco building and lets you hop on the helicopter. This is how you access Field Trip. Field Trip is basically a recon mode from PvP stages made for Salmon Run stages. This would help new players get familiar with the terrain of maps and also content creators to make amazing guides and more. You can choose to go into an empty map, but you can also choose your main weapon, special weapon, tide, night wave, specific enemies, hazard level, and more if you wish so. This can be adjusted while on Field Trip without the need of resetting for different settings. You can now swap gear from capsules for cash if you already own that piece. A little bit of Salmon Run and you can get enough cash to redeem for shell-out capsules. Yay! Grisco's washing machine is now working. Interacting with it will let you wash your dirty work suit for a little price of 10 bronze scales. In return, you'll get fresh suit and 1 gold scale. Is this money laundering in my Splatoon game? No, it's not, because it's scales, not money. Suit becomes dirty if you get deeper than 5 maps in the underground, or if you manage to splat 3 King Salmonids and regular Salmon Run shifts. We already briefly touched on medals, but yes, medals from PvP are coming to Salmon Run. There is plenty of medals to earn with brand new rarity added. Now you can earn bronze medals if you do exceptionally poor job, alongside with silver and gold medals. Oh, and one more thing. Players who earn free gold medals can fist bump. Yes, we are also adding 2 brand new animations for 3 players earning free gold medals and for 4 players earning free gold medals. There is plenty of medals to earn, so go ahead and try your hardest. We also received info about the upcoming big run. This time around the whole community works together to drive the salmonids away, making sure Grandfest is held at the right time and place. As we all know, global account is present for this big run. As Project Elevator is still just a concept, developers need to see your desire and want for this DLC to continue the development process. That's why reaching the global account of 999,999,999 during this big run is what's needed for this to become a reality. I'm sure developers would be extra motivated to give you this DLC ASAP with some extra tweaks and features. I also heard that hitting the like button or sharing will help their motivation. Of course, you can comment to give them feedback or some extra ideas you have for Project Elevator. With that being said, that was everything I have for you, and I hope you enjoyed this silly little concept video. Bye! I might have lied just now. Oh, and by the way, if you are wondering how can we be underground but visit all these stages, it's because there's Alterna crystals down there, making it just a huge and realistic projection. Duh! I know that this is Salmon Run Direct, but let's not forget about PvP players. Well, is it really for PvP players or is it just for Salmon Runners who enjoy something in PvP? You be the judge. We are introducing a brand new mode to PvP. It's called Roulette. It's a mode where everything is random. Random map, random mode, plus Surf 4 as well, random weapon, random sub-weapon, random special weapon, random gear, 1 random primary ability and 1 secondary ability all maxed out. No, seriously, I love Shadowlands Challenge so much and I wish it was a permanent thing. Every single one of them was adding something extra to the table, so let's just go all out. This is the closest we get to the random kids as well. But yeah, well, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Bye! Alright, this is the last time, I swear. I just wanted to say that I had a lot of fun putting all of this together. It's still a bit rushed because I wanted to get it out before Grandfest big run, so not all of the art I wanted to make made it to the video. But you know what, it's about the idea, not so much about the presentation. When the patch dropped a few days ago, I got actually excited and scared at the same time, because there was a part saying that capsules containing scales are going to be on the meter, and that was something that was in my script as well. And then also the one about added item into the scale exchange shop, I added one as well, so I was like, I need to get this video out before Nintendo decides to drop this as a real thing. I've been barely playing Salmon Run recently and making videos, but I want to go definitely back, especially now that we have those scales on the meter. I want to collect them all. So yeah, I will definitely start making those videos as well. I've been just sick, like what, since August? Twice. And life was busy, and then I was making this video, so I was not making the LOL videos gameplay wise, but I definitely want to go back into it. Well, now that the video is out, I can reward myself with something special. Listen, I've been sitting on these scales for some time now, waiting for the last drop of items just in case, but you know what? F that. Let me celebrate. Alright, thanks. Bye. For real now. Okay, bye.